Let's talk about creating custom networks in Google Cloud. Here I am in the console. Let's go into VPC networks. As you can see, Google creates a default network for us with subnets for every region in the world. Usually you want to have more control over where you create machines though, and that's where creating a custom network comes in. So let's click here, Create VPC Network. We got to give it a name, we'll call it DougNet. A network consists of one or more subnets. So let's say we're an American company and we're going to have our main region run out of Virginia, and then we want to have a backup region far away in Iowa. So let's create two subnets. The first one we'll name Virginia, and then we'll set the region to US East 4, which is the Virginia data center. Each subnet requires an internal IP address range. An internal IP address is an address that begins with 10 dot something or 192.168 dot something, kind of like setting up your router at home. So let's set an internal IP address for this subnet as 10.1.1.0/24. Now all that really means is every machine that is created within this subnet will have an internal IP address that begins with those first three numbers, 10.1.1, and then it'll start counting from there. So that'll create our first subnet, and then we're going to add a second subnet. This is going to be for our backup region, which we'll put in Iowa. So let's name this subnet Iowa, and we're going to pick the region, US Central 1. And similarly, we're going to have an internal IP address, so we'll make this one 10.1.2.0/24, and then click Done. So that's our second subnet. And lastly, we'll hit Create and give it a couple minutes for that network to be created. Okay. So now the network is created. DougNet with the two subnets, one in Iowa and one in Virginia. Now let's see if we can put a machine inside our Doug network inside the Virginia subnet. So let's go back to the menu and go to Compute Engine. Click Create. Now let's create a web server inside our new network. So let's call the machine web server, and we're going to put the machine in Virginia. So we'll use US East 4 as the region and US East 4A as the zone. And let's scroll down here to advanced options. So notice we have management, security, disk networking, and sole tenancy. Let's expand that, and then let's click on the networking tab. And here is where our network interface is being configured. Let's select that, and let's change the network from the default into the new network we just created. We'll leave all the other settings the same, and then hit Create, and that'll create our virtual machine. Okay, my machine is now created, and let's go over here to Columns, and we'll add Network, and as we see, my machine is in the new custom network I created. At this point, I want to SSH into that machine and configure it as a web server, but I can't do that yet because I need to create some firewall rules. We'll do that in the next video though. This is Doug Renstrom with ROI Training.